fuck it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? I've done a really good job of exploring everything. My demons are, the harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. I am James The Colossus Thompson!
So what are we training then?
Oh, but yeah, well, I'll just do my...
Do you have like a set routine when you train?
I have...
Would you break up the days?
I have this, I do the same thing 3 times.
Okay.
Well, I'll train like 2 to 3 times a week, and I'll do the same thing to a certain extent. So I do pull-ups, dips, low extension on my lower back.
Yeah.
And then I do all them weighted after. So I do it to warm up, do it weighted, then I do roller for stomach. I do like some fucking weight, with a plate. I don't actually do much weight, and then so I do.
It's all functional.
Yeah, it's all kind of compound stuff.
How many times do you train in MMA?
You know, probably like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I'll get 2 times in. I want to get that 2 times in most of the time, and then I'll do my base, and then I'll do my legs, or I'll do my chest, or thingy. So I just add it on. But the main thing is always the pull-ups, the dips, the back extensions, the rotations.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I want to get in all the time.
Okay, cool. I'll just follow you. So what we'll do is you show me and I'll just tag along.
Have we got any weighted? Have we got a belt or anything?
A belt? Oh, you want to do weighted pull-ups? Fuck me, you're strong. I have got...
Yes, I'm the Colossus!
We haven't got a belt now. But if you want to make it harder for yourself, what can we do? No, let's just go normal, let's go body weight.
It's fine. This is fine. So, you know, the weight isn't particularly important for me, and I just want it's not about it's not about how many I can do, it's the form.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
are you going to failure every time as well?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But I do as many as I can do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's kicking in up. The pre-energy's kicking nice off. I can just let it drop here. More. Yes. It's harder. That's good though. That's really good. Nice, mate. How many did you get?
I didn't count. You told me not to count.
I told you no. Numbers aren't important.
Nah, just go to failure. I went to failure.
Yeah, that was great. What I found through hitting things, I've messed my knuckles up. So these have strengthened my grip so much. When I grab people, do you know, when I grabbed them before, I could feel it was weak.
So, obviously you've introduced yourself as James The Colossus Thompson, but nobody knows.
I've got to say that every time. I've got to do that every time I say it. So
okay, I'll stop saying it.
I'm already gassed.
But outside of obviously the name, what is it you do?
I do. I've been doing MMA for forever, really. I've been doing MMA for kind of 14 years.
Is it 14 or more?
Probably more. Do you know? It will be more, because I end up saying 14 or something, and I end up saying that for just saying that. So, I mean, because I'm old, do you know what I mean? I'm 46, and I started when I was 23, so I started late as well, and I didn't do much before I started fighting. I only done Olympic wrestling. I'd done Olympic wrestling about 10 months, and then I was in Pride. Do you know what I mean? Like the biggest thing. So I didn't know really what I was doing. So that's how it started. But all right, I'm 46 now, and I started when I was 23.
23 years.
Thank you, Alf.
There we go. Quick math.
You could see that. Yeah. So 23 years. So you know, I'm ancient. But I don't particularly think. I just do what I can do. You know, just like this. I do what I can do.
What made you get into Olympic wrestling?
I won like the British Championships.
For wrestling?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to be honest, it's not that much of a thing because there's only one guy in my category.
Right.
So.
Top 2 of 2.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so, you know, medals.
Yeah.
Don't know, but I won that match, but it won, you know, you've got to kind of look at thinking, but, you know, I've done it.
What made you even go into that competition now? Was that Amir?
Yeah, that was Amir.
So what was you doing? Training weights before that, and he said, come and do some wrestling?
No, I was just doing weights, and then I wanted to do professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So I went, cause I love the WWE, you know, I'm a big guy, and I'm quite good with all the gimmicky stuff. And I thought, yeah, that's a bit of me, that. So I went to go and do professional wrestling, and then I did my first professional wrestling match, and it was, you know, like a little English village hall and that, and I was fighting. You know, obviously it's fake. I know it's fake, but it wasn't like the WWE fake with the lights and everything. And I'm just like, and you know, the guy I was doing it with, he was he's a fucking prick.
Yeah,
he's a prick. And they cut themselves.
Yeah.
They cut himself with a razor, and then they hit with a chair, and then they bleed. And he cut himself with a razor, and his daughter saw him, and she was started crying, and he went this to her, and I just thought, what? So all those things together. Then I had my match, which was, and I thought, this ain't for me, you know what I mean? So from that, I went into the wrestling, and then, you know, found MMA.
Were you always big, like muscular?
Because I'm always, mate.
Or even from a young age?
Mate,
you weren't just like really tall.
Like my son's 10 now, and he's carbon copy. Good points and bad points. Do you know what I mean? I've got like dyslexia and dyspraxia. You know, I get you see what's good, well not, from having my son and training my son now, I've found out so much about myself. Because I didn't know what dyspraxia or dyslexia was, but he would get his left and right mixed up, and I'd do that crap all the time, you know. Little stupid things I do, and then through teaching him MMA and wrestling and that, I'm able, he's got so much better because he ain't got time to think about it. When someone's at you or taking it, you ain't got time to think, you're just doing it. So I think that's something I really want to do going forward. Like, get anyone into training, it's great, but especially kids what are dyspraxic or, and you know, like myself, because like I say, it's too much in your head and thinking, and when you got on wrestling, they ain't got time for that.
Yeah, I hear you. So how would you go from having like one wrestling match, winning that, and then going into Pride? What's like the timeline? How, like, because Pride is like 100,000 people in Japan, and the best of the best at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like,
so what's the state? How have you ended up, like, basically going into one of the biggest things in the world?
You know what?
Who helped you get there?
It's I started off, you know, the wrestling. What I said, I realised wasn't for me. So I went to Kev O'Hagan's.
Yeah.
You know, Kev's been doing kind of a self-defense Japanese jiu-jitsu style. And then when I seen that, and I was like, Kev at the time was like late 40s, I think. I don't want to give away Kev's age, but he was getting on them, but super super fit, and what he was teaching was really effective. And I know that because little guys were kicking my ass. I'm like, nah, I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I've got to learn this. And then that's what I was looking for to get my teeth into. You know what I mean? So I'd done that, and then real quick, I had I entered myself in a couple of fights. I didn't even have to say anything to Kev. I just entered, put myself in for a fight, got that, did one, won that, and I think I'd had about 6 or 7 fights. Oh, and the guy, I was on Ultimate Combat. That was it. I was on Ultimate Combat, and I remember watching it with an ex-girlfriend. And I was there, and I was at LA Gym, and I seen the flyers. Like, LA Gym's a big part of my life, mate. LA Gym, anyway. So I seen a flyer, and I thought, right, yeah, I'll go and have a look. And I went with my missus at the time, and I was watching it, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. And she's like, oh, right, yeah. Because I'm always a bit like, oh, yeah. I said, no, you don't get it. I'm gonna do this. And she said, oh, yeah, you'd be good. You know, trying to kind of watch the fight. I said, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the champion. And she's like, do you know what I mean? And but I knew. And I'm gonna write a blog about this, because it's the difference between knowing, like sometimes you get a feeling about things, but I knew instinctively in my heart, not wanting, I knew I was going to fight in that show, and I was going to do really well. Anyway, I ended up fighting in the show, selling millions of tickets. I got loads of stories about that too, man, but doing well. Then my last fight there was with Dan Severn for the title, and that was the last show ever, what they were going to do. Dale Adams was the guy who ran it, and he did such a good show, Ultimate Combat, really professional, really good, really well, but he didn't want to carry on doing it, I think, because it was so tight, I'm guessing. But he put my tapes and sent them to Pride, and they liked, because I liked wrestling, I was like, what can I do? Because I didn't have much skill. I've just started. I know I'm tough, I know I'll keep going, I'm willing to learn, blah, blah, blah. But I knew I didn't know anything. But, you know, I've got the kind of gimmick, and you've got to use what I had. And what I had was my size and the thing I put on the show, like the wrestling. So, you know, I was thinking of things to do. So at the face-off, I just didn't move. I was just like that. Do you know what I mean? That was like that. And I'm just like that. And then I just fucking run at them.
Yeah.
And that's what the Japanese love. Do you know what I mean? So they wanted that. So when I went to Pride, they're like, Thompson. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, back. And they really wanted me to do that. So I was like, oh, fucking, you know.
Did they name you the Megapunk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, well, you know, obviously I got, that was Dale as well who gave me the name Colossus. And I kind of was like, yeah, I'll go with that. And then when I went over there, they called me the Megapunk. Mega because I'm big, and punk because I'm from England. That's punk music, so okay. So Megapunk it was. But yeah, that's what I like about they wanted to see a fight, or at least be entertained.
Yeah.
They don't want to see someone lay and pray, and you know what I mean? They want it all. That's why they put their heroes, their like best guys, you know, like Sakuraba, they'll put him against Arona, who's like a big middleweight, like heavyweight. You know what I mean? Kneeing him in the face constantly, because they want to see him put through the mill, because that's his guy. And it's not all about winning, it's about the you know, the fight, the show, and about the heart. And you know, I've got that. I've got heart, and I got the show. Do you know what I mean? And now I've just got to kind of, and I just had to look at actually learning to fight, which I've done while fighting.
Working on the job.
Yeah, but it is.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? That's what I was learning on the job. And that's a hard thing to do. Yeah, we're kind of done with these, Alf.
Yeah, that's next one.
Dips.
So with Pride, it is literally WWE, but real life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the whole setup, everything is like an entertainment.
That's what I like. That's what I thought they do.
Yeah.
So well. Do you know what I mean?
What do you need to do? Dips now? I'll set up the bar in here.
They want, the Japanese want entertainment and they want a legit fight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what they're all about. It's not about records. And then that is so different from the American culture, which is all about, you know, you've had, in Japan you can lose 3 in a row, and if you give everything, you're going to be back.
Yeah.
You know, UFC, they're like, oh, he's a can, he's rubbish, and it's like, yeah, but you don't, that's what, Dana White's obviously a good promoter, but he's not, and it shows, he don't understand fighters or fighting. Do you know what I mean? It's a different market, to be fair. It is a different market, so you have got to adapt to that, but I think he's part of that market in a way, where he doesn't really, like you see some excellent fighters in the UFC who get caught, who give it everything, and I don't think you should get punished for that, but you know, I'm biased because kind of that's my wheelhouse, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't do, like you'll see, I don't do much when it comes to weight. Do you know what I mean? These body weight exercises, you know, these are, you know, I grow great off them. I mean, I don't really want to grow anymore either. I don't want to put any more muscle. I want to kind of cut the muscle a little bit. So it's finding that kind of, everyone's different. Sometimes you need to put on a bit of muscle, sometimes you might have to lose it. You know what I mean? You've got to know what you need to achieve before you start, which seems quite obvious, but one size doesn't fit all. Right, let's get there.
See if it can hold your weight. Go for it.
Cheers, Al. That's really giving me the confidence. Do you know what I mean?
It's all muscle.
That's
though,
really good. It's really boom.
Yeah, we're good so far. So through your fighting career, did you find being more muscular and strong was beneficial, or did you perform better when you were more lean and agile?
Well, you know,
because you see like AJ.
Having the muscle, you know, you've got to kind of, you know, I've just got a lot of muscle. You know, I just put muscle on easily. You know, that's just my body kind of framing and that. So you kind of got to work with what you've got, but you've got to realise, like, it was, like I said, in Pride, they like all that. And they like all the show and that. But also in Pride, they like 10-minute rounds. You know what I mean? So you're being big and muscular and doing a 10-minute round, you know, ain't the one. Yeah, there you go. Excuse me.
That pre-workout going.
Pre-workout! Kick it in! It's kicking in now! Nice.
Who was your first Pride fight against?
Good, that's a good fucking, that's the other thing. So I get to Pride, you know, I didn't even realise how lucky I was or what Pride was. And my first Pride fight was against Alexander Emelianenko.
Oh, was that your first one?
Yes, first one.
Oh, the one when you ran out and got the most views?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm like,
and this is Fedor's brother, who's like
Fedor's
the
brother.
best of the best at the time.
And I've seen his training camp, right? Not like video, like little videos, like montages, and he's like in some Russian like play thing, and I think, you know, I'm thinking, and you know, you look at the kind of size of him, and remember, at that time, I'm a bit, I call it like cage fighter syndrome. I don't understand MMA, I don't understand the whole thing, so I'm kind of thinking like a newbie would, like, oh, I just have to really go at this guy, he's gonna bend, he's gonna eat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then, I've got, you know, I knew I didn't know much, so I'm gonna go gung and dash because that's what they wanted as well. And also, at that time, my brother was really ill with leukemia. He had leukemia, and I was like working myself up, and I'm nervous on that. So I started making these things. I'm like, if I can beat him, my brother will get better. And I'm putting all this mad shit in my head to pump myself up. You know, the odd pre-workout drizzled in there as well, Alfie. So when I'm there and I'm ready to run at him, I'm like, this is the thing. I was putting on a show, but it was real. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That adrenaline and anger and energy was 100% real, but I was also putting it on. You know, it's not one or the other. So, you know, and then I've gone out, you know, I run, knocked him down, and there's a really good picture, actually. It's of Emelianenko, and it's where I've knocked him down, and then I've gone like that to kind of like reset myself, and he's like this. It's fucking good picture, and he's like this. Like you're gonna get it, you know what I mean? He's thinking, you meathead,
yeah.
You are so gonna get it. And he was right. He got bam, 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 blitz me. I'm like deviled. I'm like, I've lost it all. I've got a chance again, and he's gone, and blah, blah. So I'm like that. And then this is the difference between the Americans and like I said, because I was depressed, and then the Japanese people came in, oh, Thompson, oh, like they were watching that in the break over and over and over and over again. You could hear, you know, and that's when it kind of clicked. And they wanted me back again. And then I thought, Henry Miller, he was like a sumo guy, super nice guy, but he just started. And that was a nice fight for me, you know, get a win under my belt. And then, you know, I kept on going from there. You know, so I was lucky. I was lucky, but I was lucky, but I also knew what I was, and I knew what I could provide, and I knew what they wanted. And like, you know, as a business person, if you can get those three things in line, you know, you're gonna have success one way or another.
Can you remember what you got paid for your first fight with Pride?
Pride. It was. These are quite nice, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit different.
Yeah, I like these because, you know, for the. I'll do a little. Like for my first fight, yeah, what I can't remember exactly, but I'm gonna say it was about $15,000.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Which for me at the time, selling tickets, do you know what I mean? And yeah, I got some good stories out selling tickets.
Did they pay for all the accommodation, flights, everything?
Yeah, accommodation,
so you
flights.
left with 15 for yourself. We got to split that between your team as well.
Yeah, I got to, you know, you got to give like 10%. And at the time, I was still paying like Kev, like a $5 to train every session.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of done that thing. So I don't actually think I paid Kev anything, which looking back is a little bit naughty. I should have done that, but sorry, Kev. It's in the post. I'll put you on the list of people. But yeah, it's a big shock.
Yeah.
Let's just have a little. Oh, that is hard. Oh, I want some of these. I want some of these from my bathroom door or something. Because for my grip, you know what I mean? I'm so kind of like spazzed out. I really need.
What was it like when you went into that arena? Was it like 100,000 people there, right?
Oh, well, yeah, they always like over-exaggerate it type thing, but...
It's obviously packed though, right?
Oh, I'd fought in the Tokyo Sky Dome, I think, and I think they said it was something like 70, 80, so I'd say it was at least 60, 65, and I'm telling you, like, the adrenaline, do you know what I mean? The adrenaline, and it's like, you're there, the art man, they really want to see it. They really, not only do they, that's not the wrong thing to say, they don't just want to see it, they appreciate it. A lot I love about the Japanese, silent, can't hear anything. Someone passes guard, silent. Someone does something, they're watching. They know it's not, do you know what I mean? It's not low IQ, absolute, pissed up, do you know what I mean? Which
do you fight better in that though? Do you fight better in silence than people cheering you on like that?
That's a good, well,
would you rather have the pissed up people going, beat him up, punch him, knock him out?
It's bigger than that, because once you're in there, you're just getting the kind of, you're just garnering the energy off the crowd. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're thinking, oh, you know what I mean? It's not like it's not like I'm not switched on to kind of know that. Do you know what I mean? But, so it doesn't really matter at that point once you're in it. But leading up to it, I love the appreciation, what the Japanese fight. Well, it's martial arts. Look at the samurai. Do you know what I mean? The way of the warrior, the whole Japanese thing. That's cultural. What have we got in the West? Do you know what I mean? When it comes to cultural things, we ain't got nothing. Well, we have actually, because catch wrestling started in England and that, but no one even fucking knows that apart from me. Obviously not apart, just, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't know, you've got to kind of re-educate people, but you've got to re-educate people in a way they can understand, which means dumbing it down a little bit to get them in, and then the ones what will stay, and the ones that are going to go anyway are going to go anyway. But once the ones you got are going to stay, you can actually start, do you know what I mean? Like showing them, you know, it's more than just, you know, which, you know, it's not just one anything. It's not just all about the head, all about the heart, all about things. It's a multitude of things. That pre-workout off.
What the one you just taken? Or the one before? How many fights in total? What was your best fight in Pride? Or the most memorable one that you had?
Don't fry.
Yeah.
Because don't fry. That, like I said, like I'm someone who I was in Rochdale Town Flats watching, like my mate. Oh, have you heard about this? Yeah, you do anything, and it's like, you know, they're kind of like talking like it's a kumite, like blood sport or something. I'm like, oh right. Excuse me. Oh right, yeah. And I'm looking, and this is what, going back to what I said about, you know, knowing. Like, I knew I was going to fight in that Ultimate Combat. When I seen that Pride, I knew I wanted to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like at certain points in my life, at different scales, I've known not what's going to happen, what path I'm going to take, or, you know, I'm not explaining it very well, do you know what I mean? But I know you've got to kind of suck it and see, and then from there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just go with it.
What was the biggest payday in Pride?
It's all about the fucking money, innit, Ralph?
About business.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm intrigued.
Businessman, innit? Do you know what I mean? You got sponsors, you got thingy and that.
Because UFC is like, a lot of people always complain about the fighters getting underpaid.
They should. Because
so was Pride any better than UFC back in the day? It was.
Yeah, and you get like.
Because 15,000 for your first fight, fighters don't even get that now in England, in UFC.
And they gave me that they gave it me, and they gave me a bonus as well because they liked it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Nice.
So, you know, and that's kind of, and like Dana White, they're like, oh yeah, that's what you see, them numbers, but under the table you get X amount. Now, I'm sure they do get thingy, but I mean, it's smart really because that's the control mechanism. Because you step out of that line, your bonus, which could be anything, if you say X, Y, or Z about not having your own sponsors or that could affect your bonuses. Probably will affect your bonuses. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I better just, you know what I mean, zip it. And I think so. I understand it from a promotional and a business point of view, but I think the talent you shouldn't be skimming on, because even though they've got an abundance of it, and at the moment the UFC is the only game in town, do you know what I mean? The UFC will never be MMA. The UFC will never be MMA or ultimate fighting. Do you know what I mean? It will never. You can't be bigger than the sport, and that's what UFC. And they've done a good job of it, and like I said, they're the only game in town, but that won't last forever. Do you know what I mean?
You don't believe they can continue being on top forever?
They won't be up, no. I don't
We
think
think
so.
another promotion will come along and be able to take market share.
Eventually, because I think they'll keep cutting the nose off, and to a certain extent, they'll be spiting the face to a certain extent, because UFC are the biggest, and they have got a monopoly on it, but I don't think it'll last. And you see them getting more, and it's human nature, they get greedier and greedier. So now the fighters can't have their own sponsors. You can't have your own sponsors to make up your pay. You can't even have your own sponsors. UFC are gonna have that, and then gonna like dish it out like a whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? Now, I'm sure the big guys and the top guys, you know, do really well, but they're going to do really well anyway because they're the big guys and the top guys. Do you know what I mean? But what about the guys coming through?
Yeah.
What about the guys to nurture? You know, that's where they're going to fall down. Do you know, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's where the massive change was with one of my businesses, wasn't it? When UFC transitioned from having like an open policy, anyone can get sponsored, and you organise your own sponsors.
Right, yeah.
And we had like 15, 20 different brands operating, and they would sponsor all the up-and-comers, walk out into the cage, people would see the product and then buy.
Of course.
And then Reebok come along, gave that blanket policy where you could only wear Reebok.
Yes.
And like,
well, I mean, the
loads of brands disappeared.
UFC get a massive check, and they dole out peanuts to the fighters, to the monkeys.
And nobody really wants to wear that Reebok or whatever the brand is usually.
Well, that was a little chance for the fighters to bump up the pay.
Yeah.
What wasn't all that. For what you're doing and how many fights you have a year and the injuries you can have and do it. And you ain't got no medical in America. Do you know what I mean? You ain't got no NHS in America, all that. So all these factors, do you know what I mean? It's a hard living. And when you've got the promoter, you know, kicking the balls as well, do you know what I mean? It I think personally, and maybe I've got it completely wrong, do you know what I mean? But I think it'll bite them in the arse eventually, but you know, they're doing all right at the moment. So I do like so this is, like I said, so this is a routine I do every time, and then I just add my chest on. I add my legs on, chest, legs, and that's pretty much, I think that's pretty much it. I kind of go between them. Okay, so warm our necks up. So you've really got to, it is quite important this, because you're not used to these. You won't be used to these, so you can use your hands, and it is important you do that, because if you slip off a little bit, you can really do yourself in. So I kind of warm up like this. I look like a kind of Romanian orphan left in the cot, you know what I mean, in the gym when I'm doing it. But, you know, that's just kind of part of it, isn't it? You know what I mean? Who gives a shit? Shout out to the Romanian orphans like that. You know, because you've got to decide, what am I doing? Am I doing this to get big? Am I doing this to get strong? You know, I'm not so much to get big. I'm already big. If anything, I want to come down, but I want to have lean, proper muscle mass, not what I've had before, like the bodybuilder beach muscles type thing, which don't work for so I kind of compound movements, all these things, and you know, on my neck, that, you know, I'm getting it grabbed and getting it dragged about all the time. You know, it's really important. Quality is quality, right? So here, you keep your hands here, Alf, like that, and just, you know, you want to get a good kind of, you're going to feel it on your head a little bit, but that's just...
You just go into failure?
No, don't go to failure on this one, because you don't want to, even though you're putting your hands there, you don't want to kind of, you know what I mean, you don't want to do too much. So just do 5, you know, just do it.
Just warming your neck up, basically.
Yeah, warm up. And so you're here, and then what I want you to do, so you're here, you know, you can start off like this, and then you get a bit of height. You know, and then when you get to courser standard, you can start.
Yeah, that's a neck breaker. Got you.
You know, and you go different sides as well, but, you know, we're just doing a thing. And then you flip it. Yeah, this is such a good exercise. This is what I'm getting my boy Rocco, do you know what I mean? I'm getting him learning on that, because this bridging, it's brilliant, opens up the whole chest. You know, you've got to have, this is what I've learned, my frame has to support my body. So don't worry about having so much weight on, do you know what I mean? And like repping at it, can my frame, can my, you know, can I be in these weird positions and can I function?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm not gonna do that.
Right?
I ain't doing that one, but carry on.
What?
I'm not gonna do that on my head. That mat's sharp as well, straight to your head.
Yeah, because I'm not a puss, it don't bother me.
Of course,
do you know what I mean? But do you know what I mean? I'm in the trenches. But no, seriously though.
Yeah.
Your head does kind of get used to it, but.
Did you ever do the weighted neck once? That Tyson was always like famous for.
I've got to get a head thing. I've got to get a belt. Excuse me. I've got to get a belt, a belt, and put weight on it. You don't need much. What do I need? I need a bar. Look at what we've been doing. Like this, a bar, a belt, a plate.
It's like a calisthenics workout.
You know what I mean? That, you know, it's not much. I can do it in my garden. I've seen a guy doing them standing up, but here, you know, it's fine. And like I said before, you know what I mean? What's the rush? What's the rush? Do them properly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Get a good stretch. Do you know what I mean? Feel that. That's what, because I don't do much. I need more kind of stretching and kind of stuff like that. So this kind of stuff.
What was your biggest fight, do you reckon, of your career to date?
Don't talk to me. Fuck's sake.
I don't think that's built for you, that one, is it?
You get the point. You get the point. Let's see if I can do. But I mean, I can only do. I haven't been doing these for that long, to be fair. And I can do about. I'll get about 5. Do you know what I mean? I'll get about 5 normally. See all this kind of like pull up, dip stuff to a certain extent, hanging off, this kind of stuff. You know, my knuckles are messed up and my grip isn't good. This is working my grip for everything. That's why I do kettlebell stuff. You know, like hold it, a lot of plate stuff, really gripping on to it, because, do Do you know what I mean? When I grip something, do you know what I mean? Before I was gripping, I didn't have it. Do you know what I mean? So that's not good enough. So I can do my weights, but what do you want to achieve? Everyone wants something that maybe just, I'm not even slagging you off. Or maybe I would be, but maybe you just want to stay fit and look good.
Yeah.
And you've got a job and a family. Do you know what I mean? Like seriously, what's wrong with that? So you might train a bit differently for that than I do. But that's what I would say. What do you want to achieve and where do you want to go? Because one size doesn't fit all. I'll do something like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. With your abs, like what I've noticed, like from here, and I'm going all here and then all the way back there. I don't need that. I need the tension from here to about there. Do you know what I mean? So, that I find a quick movement. I'm moving my hips. I'm hitting the different abs. And so with these, like I say, the range ain't that much. I've gone down a bit too far there. So I want to get up, like my hands, at least my palms on my knees. And when I come down, about here, so I can keep my shoulders slightly rounded.
Just constant tension throughout.
Constant tension. And I just caress my knees for the ladies out there. This one's for the ladies. Caress their knee. Sorry, it's got a bit weird. Put some light music. Yeah, change the lighting and put a few candles. Yeah, this is for the Colossus knees. I might throw in some plank. Do you know what I mean? But I can kind of do them at home and stuff. So I do at home. I'll do things. I've got some like 5 pound weights, and I'll just be like that, like a minute, because obviously being so colossal, my problem's been keeping my hands up with the muscle mass. i.e. why I'm holding like that with weight to get used to that. I don't have that problem that much now, but that's why. But I do a lot of kind of, I think this is called tree pulls or some shit. Do you know what I mean? I get kind of centered here. Do you know what I mean? And like, if I've got a headband, I'll put it on just to really go Mr. Miyagi and fucking, do you know what I mean? And I just hold it. I might hold it with the weights. I bring it. I don't know what this is, but it kind of feels like. Do you know what I mean?
How are you getting that?
And yeah, I'm really, see the fireball. I'm actually creating a fireball. Yeah, but with this, in all seriousness, I'm thinking on my hips, and I'm really, how are we going for the ladies? I'm really pushing down here. I'm really feeling it here. You see how I'm kind of, I can't do it very well. Do you know what I mean? I might say my knees are coming in, so that's why I keep doing it. Okay, that's enough of that.
So what about Kimbo then? So how did that come about, that fight?
Yeah, when I say about like...
Did you call him out, or did he call you, or was it just organised through, was it Bellator or something else?
Elite XC.
Oh, Elite XC, yeah.
Excuse me, but they went through a million names. And what I say about the training, you got to know what you want to achieve. You got to know what you want. I think when it comes to the fighting, it's the same. And it's the same as in, I've got to know what I am, or I was at that time. I wasn't a skilled fighter. You know, what like we touched on before, I'm a big guy who will come and fight, and I'll put on a show, right? That's what I am, you know, and I'm kind of learning on the job, as you quite rightly said before of. But, so I know that. So when it comes to people like Pudzianowski, who they're going to pick? A guy who's had a load of kind of bad losses on his record, which I do, which is another story altogether, you know, because that's because I didn't treat martial arts with respect. Do you know what I mean? I got a little bit of success and kind of went off, but that's for a whole different blog. I'm the guy they're going to use to build up people,
right?
Like Kimbo. No, that's okay. That's fine, because I'm happy for the choice, and I'm going to spoil the party. That in my head, I'm there at the weigh-in. No, I think I was. Yeah, I'm there at the weigh-in, and you got Gary Shaw, big fat, like literally the most like archetypal slime ball promoter. That's, do you know what I mean? And he just manifests as Gary Shaw. It's just him. Do you know what I mean? And they asked him, "What will you do if James wins?" And he said, "I'll kill myself."
Who, Kimbo said that?
No.
Oh, Gary Shaw.
Gary the promoter.
Okay, yeah.
Said that.
Yeah.
So
they're banking on everything
well,
on Kimbo.
they're putting the house.
Yeah.
It's all got to be on him. And I just thought, yeah, fucking get the noose ready, Gary, you fat fuck, because you're going to be fucking swinging. He did it, hit me with them good, you know, because he was a big, strong guy.
You're a good boxer, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Great boxer.
Yeah, he was a scrapper, and he had heart. Do you know what I mean? But he didn't have no wrestling, and I should have beat him in the second. I should have tied him up. I was like, do you know what I mean? I had the open net and I wasn't tapping it in, so that's on me, really. But you know, whatever. Everything happens for a reason. But
so your ear exploded and the referee stopped it.
Yeah,
didn't he?
because
how did you actually feel when it exploded? Were you actually ready to stop then, or?
So you don't stop it when it's an ear. You don't stop it because the blood is not dripping in my eyes. It's on my ear. Do you know what I mean? And it's there. Now I was rocked. You can see I'm rocked. If you look at me when they stop it, I'm kind of like that. But I'm talking to him and I know what's going on. I said, look at Kimbo. He was done as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's what they took. They took my chance. So maybe Kimbo would have knocked me out. Maybe he would have landed something on that, because I was not far from done, but he wasn't far from done. Do you know what I mean? I had a load of sponsorships lined up if I got that. I had a load of everything, but it wasn't meant to be. Do you know what I mean? So it is what it is, and you can't. Oh, but the best thing is just to really kick me in the gonads, just to really rub salt in the wound, is that then, you know, I'd gone off the rails and a lot of stupid stuff, what I always do. And then I get a call, oh, Kimbo rematch. At least 100 grand, not including sponsorship. I'm on my ass at the time. Wembley, London, do you know what I mean? I'm like, thank you. And he dies 2-3 weeks before a rematch. And I just thought, you know what? I get it, fuck it don't matter. Do you know what I mean? He's not meant to, you know, you know, that hurt me so much, because that was going to be my redemption. But again, it wasn't meant to be, so what can you do?
Was there any alternative option they put on the table after that? Or they just said,
because I'm just the guy to get beaten by Kimbo. Do you know what I mean? I'm not the guy to push. I'm the guy to feed to someone else. I'm just gonna mess up that plan. And then, you know, then I can get a little foot in my door. I can learn a little bit more, and given the chance, I know when I can talk. When I'm good at like the promotion, I'm good at it. I've got something to say. Do you know what I mean? I can put on the show. I've got a lot of qualities, what a lot of other people don't have, and I know that in myself. I just need to concentrate on getting better as a fighter. So that was where my head was at. So, but like I said, I knew that they're not thinking along them lines, and that's fine. And that's fine. It's my job to show them that. Yeah. With this one, I do 3, and you know, I get a bit of a crouched stance, stick my ass out a bit. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is kind of just, do you know what I mean? I got my headphones in and I kind of see how I'm feeling after the workout and that. And I might do it to the end of a song or whatever. But you know, I can kind of stay centered. And I really need stuff like this because it's mobility. You know what I mean? I'm a big guy. Some might even say colossal. And so I got to do mobility. Do you know what I mean? I got to do mobility. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like I haven't lifted a lot. I mean, what weight have I lifted here? I ain't done jack. I've lifted myself and I put pressure in certain situations. You know, I ain't lifting, you know, a lot. Like I've started to do deadlift, which is shockingly bad. So I'm trying to get some compound proper exercises. I'll do heavy, but that's like squat. I've got to do more squat. Do you know what I mean? So there are things for that, but like I say, time and place. Like,
what do you weigh at the minute?
I'm all over the place. I was 112, then I was 114, over the head, and you're just rotating it. Speed it up. I love making them noises. I love making them noises in your gym, Alf.
Does it help?
The gutful noises. I like to get a few gutful noises out.
Well, it's the only gym you can do it in Bristol.
Yeah, well that's...
You're banned otherwise if you did that
true,
in another place.
That's true, but they're not made up gutful noises. They're authentic. That's the difference.
So when you said after the Kimbo fight, you went off the rails or whatever else.
I always kind of.
What does that entail to you? What's going off the rails?
For me, like my demons are like gambling. Do you know what I mean? Not so much. I've done drugs and all that kind of thing, and a little bit of drink, but you know that didn't really capture me. But gambling got a hold of me and proper dragged me around.
What type of gambling?
It was blackjack. Blackjack was my kind of poison.
That's what I was going to say. Did you get into it because you had some early wins?
Well, I had some money and I like the adrenaline. And I do it, and you know, everyone like, oh, I've got a system or that. I'm kind of like, go off feelings, which the casinos love people like me. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not kidding. I'd go in with 500 quid and I'll double that 7 times out of 10. Easily. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes just go in and get like lose it or whatever, but I'm telling you, 7 times out of 10 is a good estimate, and I'm doubling that or more. But can I leave? The answer is no. I never leave. I stay there until the last. And I can see that sometimes you get a really empathetic dealer, and they can see they're like, you know, can I tip good? Do you know what I mean? And I try to be, you know, even when I lose, I don't take it out on the dealers because it's my shit, my problem. So, do you know what I mean? And I go with a dealer, you know, I've got kind of, I can feel some kind of affinity to, do you know what I mean? So, all that kind of thing together, you know, and they'd be kind of like pleading with me to go, and I can't go. And I remember I had my last grand, and I was thinking playing, and I've been there I've done 25 grand, and I've been there for around about 25 grand. It might have been a bit more, might have been a bit less. And I've been up and down and thinking, but I've been there 2 days and I just wanted to go home. And I had a grand left and I couldn't leave. And in the end, I just took it to roulette, put it on black, came in red, and I went, I was relieved.
Yeah.
Because I've been up fucking 2 days and it meant I could go home. Do you know what I mean?
Is this in England?
Yeah. You know, that's like Grosvenor down the road, do you know what I mean? No, but whatever, whoever it is, do you know what I mean? And I just thought, James, what is it? And then it's like, it's not the gambling, it's not the money. Now the money is the side effect, do you know what I mean? Not the side effect, the money is the kind of root, but when you've got to scratch a little bit deeper, and when you scratch a little bit deeper, you know, it's not about the money, it's about winning, and you know, it's about, you know, it's about the feeling and the thrill.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to the emotion of it, and the money just lets me hook into that emotion. So, you know, because I do think a lot, do you know what I mean? You know, I'm the thinking meathead. So, do you know what I mean? I do think a lot. And when I realised that, I thought, you know, I'm going to end up with absolutely jack. And I've done a really good job of that. Do you know what I mean? I've done a really good job of destroying everything. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, well done me. Yeah, listen to my advice. You too can destroy everything. Do you know what I mean? No, but I'm making a joke, but it is dark. It is dark. But I'm not there now, and I've learnt from it. But to me, everything's a gamble. Everything's a gamble. Crossing the street's a gamble. Everything's a gamble. You can't take gambling out of life. You can take ridiculous gambling and like the blackjack and that. I can't do that because, like I say, I can't leave. So I know that. But poker, you know, it's more controlled. It's more that, and you know, there's more thinking involved on that. So I allow myself to play a bit of poker now. I haven't played poker for 4 or 5 months. And I'm good at poker and I enjoy it. And I've had the money to play poker. And I think it, but, I will play poker, but it's not about me playing poker now. It's about me sorting out my life. And I'm not going to do that through poker. I'm going to do that in a gym, doing stuff like that, like this. This is how I'm going to sort out my life. Like dead hangs. Dead hang. This is a really good exercise. Like this is like I say, this really builds up my my grip and thingy. So usually I just use a straight bar, but whatever. This is fine. I get a grip like knuckles over, and I'll hang now for, right, so I've got to hang for 3 minutes, but I'm not going to hang for 3 minutes. And just time me how long I can hang for, just so to see. You know, I'm just going to hang for however long I can hang for, and then Alfred do his, and then I have to make up the 3 minutes. If I get a minute, I've got 2 minutes left. Do you know what I mean? And you can have as many goals as you want, but you've got to get that 3 minutes in as many goals. Do you know what I mean? And it's a real good one.
Okay, I got you.
So you get it, and then you just, you know.
We're off.
I try and keep looking up to keep my spine straight. Do you know what I mean? I want everything aligned. I'm thinking I'm really let my kind of, obviously my shoulders are taking it anyway.
Going up to 30 seconds. So another question you can ponder while you're hanging there.
Nice.
If you could go back in time knowing what you know now, what would you have changed in your career? What would you have done differently?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. It's easy answer. Do you know what I mean? My grip's going, you see. I've got a lot more, but my grip.
1 minute.
Sure, that's rubbish.
Stop.
Yeah, like the most I've done is like 145, but it's because I haven't got a straight bar, but whatever. What I'd change, I won't change anything. And I say it's an easy answer because it's like the old, you know, some like are quite trite answers and quite kind of corny, but it's actually true. You know, it is okay. I won't change anything else because, you know what I mean, I've learned through that. Do you know what I mean? Now this is, this goes back to always what I'm saying. What do I want, right? I'm on my back, yeah? I'm on my back with like some guy on me trying to, you know what I mean? I'm not pushing him off from here. Do you know what I mean? Bench press, like, you know, it does my chest and that, but I'm not doing that. I'm not pushing him off from here. I'm pushing him off from here. So if you're doing MMA, why are you doing bench press? Why are you doing bench press? You know, just for the functional movement. Do you know what I mean? You got your elbows flared out like that, and you don't push people off like that. You push people off like that. So with this, we get dumbbells. I get heavy dumbbells, you know, whack them out, I don't know, 6 to 8, and then I get light, and then I'll do 15 to 20, and then I do push-ups straight after. So I'm exhausting the muscle, heavy, light, and then getting reps with the with the push-ups.
Going back to your saying about the gambling and the addiction to the emotion.
Yes, that's good. The addiction to the emotion.
Did the gambling come before the fighting or the fighting come after?
Do you know what I think? I think you lead me to the bench.
Yeah,
okay. Oh, right, yeah, of course. Right.
Like, was the gambling a byproduct because you had such highs with the fighting that you needed something to replicate that?
You know,
or was the gambling way before that?
That's quite a good question. Do you know what I mean? I think I was always being predisposed. I like gambling. I like the buzz. I like the thing. That's just me. You know what I mean?
But was it before you started fighting and getting those rushes?
But I didn't gamble until I was probably about. In my 30s.
Outside of fighting and gambling, what other things gave you an emotional high? Do you have any other hobbies? I'm guessing the gym was a bit of one.
Yeah. You know, I do. I love the gym and get you know, I'm thinking, you know, I've got to be exhausted. I've got to do something and get out, because if I don't, that's when, you know, my mind starts going. I start. Whatever, we'll do 40s. So I think I was always a gambler. I just didn't realise it. Do you know what I mean? And then when and then I started feeling sorry for. I had some bad decisions. I had some things go against me. Life's not fair. Why me? Because of what I said before. Because I was trying really hard, but I'm not like a really talented fighter. So I was just being put out there to build up the next guy, and then I'm gonna be a colossal fly in the ointment. And then when that happens, you know, look at Pudzianowski. No one gets ripped off more than me, and it's for that reason, because I'm the Colossus fly. But I am, and that's why they end up. Look at Pudzianowski. Look at Kimbo. Do you know what I mean? I had a fight with some Japanese guy that got ripped off, and there's the absolute. Well, you know, it's happened a lot of times, and you know, that's the reason.
What role does your management have to play in that, though? If you're getting ripped off the fights, or the team you chose to be around?
I was getting ripped off, like you know, that's what I was. Do you know what I mean? That's what I was. So it wasn't so much I was getting ripped off, even though I did get ripped off, but straight to press ups, straight to press ups, Alfie, press ups, give me press ups. This
Are
is
we going
so
narrow or
much
wide?
fun. It's so much fun, isn't it? Nice. This is really good, Alf. I like you. Got good form, mate. Yeah. Colossal routine, and you can go around, give it the beat up. Give me some protein out there. Give me some sponsorship. You got me? Oh my goodness.
With that then,
Yeah.
final word.
On that note.
Yeah, so on that note,
Yeah, sorry, Alf.
what's something people don't know about James that they should?
I like the add-on of what they should know, because that really puts a different twist on it. What should they know? I'm not sure what they should know, to be honest.
I think you've touched on
They
it a
know
little
what they should
bit.
know. They should know. And it's not like they should know, it's that they'll know because they're going to see. Because I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. I'm 46 and I don't really want to come back, to be honest. I've had so many fights. I've done so much. I've done it the wrong way, the right way, and everything in between. But I'm going to come back because, my son, I'm training my son now. And I want to set an example to him. Now, my son might not want to fight, and I'm not going to try and make him fight. Do you know what I mean? But he's a lot like me, good and bad. And what I've realised is I never had anyone showing me. Do you know what I mean? I had different trainers, but I never had, the coach, the customata type figure. Do you know what I mean? To kind of like finger, because I never had a dad. Do you know what I mean? But he's got a dad, and that's me. So, I can. This is why I'm coming back now, and maybe I will fight, maybe I won't fight. Whatever. It's not really about me fighting and coming back. It's about me being in the right frame of mind and doing as much as I can do and showing him. So through MMA, I think I can teach him a lot of that. I know I can teach him a lot of that because it's so hard. And if you can face up and conquer, your demons, whatever they might be, whether it might, the fear of, the fear of losing, the fear, all these different obstacles, and you can get in there with all the naysayers thingy, and guess what? You might even lose, and then get back up and then win, and then, that takes character. Do you know what I mean? And that's what my boys got. That's what my kids have got. And that's what everyone's got to a certain extent. You've got to test it. Do you know what I mean? It's all right saying, yeah, he's got character, but when everything's there, you don't get to test that. MMA, because everything's so soft these days. Life, like modernity, is so easy, and that's making, what's that quote? Good times make weak men make hard times make strong men. Do you know what I mean? I probably butchered that a little bit, but the principles are right, and that's a universal truth. So, that's what I can bring to the table with my son and my daughter, but I can magnify it more with my son because I can get my teeth into that. And if he wants to do it, as in fight, but even if he don't want to fight, he got to train and do all these things. I'm lucky. I'm 46. I've got good genetics. I've got a good heart, and I got my head on my shoulders. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not afraid. Do you know what I mean? I'm not afraid of. I'm not afraid to lose because I've been there. I'm not afraid to be laughed at because I've been laughed at. Do you know what I mean? So what's left for me? What's left for me is to fucking gong and dash it and see what happens. Now I am in good shape, I'm doing an interview with you. I'm getting a lot of supplements and stuff from you. I'm going and seeing other people about these other interviews. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Things are happening because I'm making them happen instead of, looking about conspiracies and smoking joints. Do you know what I mean? You know, so, but you've got to be honest enough to realise where you are and what you need to change to get to wherever you need to be. But a lot of people don't even know where they need to be. Do you know what I mean? So how are you going to get there if you don't know where you're fucking going? Do you know what I mean? You're not. So
take away fighting altogether, what does the next 10 years, what would be the ideal 10 years for you? Where do you see yourself going down? You've done obviously podcasts with Joe Rogan. You've always told me in the past that you wanted to do your own one. And you wanted to be what's the thinking meathead, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. You know, what am I good at? And what do I enjoy? I enjoy like talking about, I love getting stoned and talking about conspiracies. Do you know what I mean? I love it, but I can't do it all the time. There's a time and a place for that. Do you know what I mean? And I can do that on a podcast. Do you know what I mean? And I can work hard in whatever, and you know, but I can do that thingy. So I see myself doing podcasts and things like that. But my meat and potatoes is the gym. And once I get my gym, I'm going to have my own fighters. But you know, I'm going to be training my son. Do you know what I mean? On my own fight team. When I have my own gym, I'm going to do my own shows. Because I've already done my own shows. Urban Destruction when I was with Trojan, me and Charlie Joseph, we put on a show. I fought in them and I did a lot of promoting for them. I didn't get nothing for it, which is fine because I got the knowledge of how to do it, and that's what's going to come in a minute. You know what I mean? So it's a gym, and then when I got my gym, I get my show. When I get my show, I get my fight team. When I get my fight team, I got other people to bring it through, and I step back, and then I start going into the podcast, the training, and stuff, and I'm happy. I would have spent eternity wandering around in a circle, looking at cat videos and losing shit. Do you know what I mean? But that's not very rewarding. Newsflash, you don't get that much out of that, even though there are some excellent cat videos out there. So you know, but it's like little bits. Do you know what I mean? You know that you know, I've been a smoke and that. Didn't know. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do that. But having a drink, having a little smoke, do you know what I mean? That's all right. But you control it. It can't control you, and that's a different matter. And that's what I'm talking about. The discipline. Do you know what I mean? I can come in, I can train, I can do this. You know, I'm in control. I decide, and that's powerful. When you realise that, oh, hang on, I'm the boss. I'm the boss of me. Might not be a boss of anything else, but I'm the boss of me. So it's a constant journey, innit? It's a constant journey, and we don't have all the answers, or I certainly don't have all the answers right now. But you know, I'm happy walking down the road and going on and see what comes of it. You know what I mean?
If someone out there is dealing with like an addiction to gambling, would you say you're an addiction to gambling?
Yes.
So what advice would you give them? What have you learned from your lessons of it?
If you've got an addiction to anything, do you know what I mean? What's an addiction? It's something you don't have control over, something what's got control over you. That's the essence of addiction, no matter whether, and everyone to it, like some people are addicted to work, which is a more positive addiction, but tell me that can't be destructive. Do you know what I mean? Some people it's food, some people it's gambling, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it's not so much it being about gambling, it's about getting control of yourself, and you can do that in little steps. First of all, you've got to be aware of it. Do you know what I mean? What's my addiction? You've got to be honest with yourself. And if you're not prepared to be honest with yourself, and a lot of people don't want to be honest with you, that's what I think I have, and what my superpower is self-awareness. I really believe that I'm super self-aware about myself, and I really question everything and why I do things a little bit too much sometimes, because sometimes you can get a little bit in your head about it, and sometimes you can, or sometimes I can dwell on things a little bit too much. So what I think you've got to do is allocate the problem what it is, right? So that's the first step. Allocate it what it is. The next step is how are you gonna get over, like that, you know, that's a big thing, knowing what it is. Now, how are you gonna get off that? Because it ain't no fun something having control of you. It's gonna ruin your happiness. And I don't like happiness, because what the fuck is happiness? Do you know what I mean? But it's about being in control of yourself, and then the happiness comes after that. So that's what I would say was, like, sit down with yourself and have an honest conversation with yourself, because it's only you who can make the changes. You might have a toxic girlfriend, or you might have a toxic friend, or which is still your fault because you've opened the door for them. Do you know what I mean? You've opened the door. The vampires can only come in when you invite them. I'd say, be honest with yourself.
Take accountability.
Huh?
Take
accountability, thank you. I'm not going like all the 12-step type stuff. Take accountability of your own actions. It ain't no one's fault. It ain't no one's fault, the mess I made of things. Now, I opened the door and I walked in and I let people take advantage of me, but that's my fault. That's my fault, because I wasn't in a place to sort it out, and I should have been. Do you know what I mean? I should have been in that place, but I wasn't, and that's down to me. My ego's not bad. My ego's not bad. I've got an ego. Do you know what I mean? I accept I've got an ego, but I try my hardest for it not to control me. Do you know what I mean? And then sometimes I'll look back and I'll think, oh, I was a bit of a prick there, or I was trying to show off there, or I tried to, or it might even be the smallest thing, but I think, oh, I was taking the piss out of someone to try and big myself up there. Do you know what I mean? And when I think that, you know, when I think it, I think to myself, good, not good that I did it, good that I recognise it, and that I don't have to go on, depending what it is, I don't have to go on and apologise to that person and make a big deal about it, but I just got to recognise it and not fall into them same traps again, and that way, you know, I'm becoming a better person, Alf. I'm becoming a better Colossus.
It's the trigger.
Oh, it's a trigger. It's a trigger. I'm gonna sit
Would you say chocolate, yeah?
Oh, please.
You know, dates in there?
No.
You don't like
did
dates?
you not put that in?
You don't like dates?
Oh, what's going on? Please don't put that in my cheek. Well, you made me feel weird now, Alf.
Don't tell me
I've
you've
come
never
over all fucking weird now.
You've never had dates in the shape before?
Oh, look, I can't even put myself straight. You've really offset me there.
You really are from Manchester.
I'm so glad you told me that was in there. You're gonna have that, aren't you? I can't have that.
You don't like dates?
Mate, I can't have that, innit?
But do you know what a date is?
I feel sick, Alf.
See, I don't know if you're fucking trolling me right now.
No, I'm not trolling you.
You being serious?
Yeah, he's like a fucking massive prune. He's like an anabolic prune.
Dates are banging.
Do you know what I mean?
Dates
Fish
are
that
nice.
fucker out. I don't. Oh, it's infected the milk. It's moving. It's fucking moving. It's fucking knocking hot shit over. It's fucking hell. What's going on? What's going on here?
I can't believe you never had a date in the protein shake.
Oh, mate.
23 years you've been fighting them.
Yeah, ridiculous, isn't it?
You thought it was like 10 years or 14 years this stuff.
I know. It's silly, isn't it? Really.
It's crazy how fast time flies. I was trying to think.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy. Do you know, I remember, obviously, like when you were at that, we'd bar at the little
Shop.
At that little thing. You know, I knew you were going to do well, though. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got a good...
I was trying to work out when we first met, because it would have been before then. You've got to remember.
Oh, yeah, well before then. Well before then. I knew you, and well before then.
Well, I was just trying to think, when was the first time I met you? Because I can't specifically remember when it was. I remember stories from Lisa mentioning you about how someone disrespected her at the club and you punched the skin off his face.
Oh, who was that then? Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Because
Lisa was practically the first person. That's what I said about when in the interview about LA Gym being like a mecca. Like he's just, you know what I mean, connected to me. But like he's just always about, because Lisa was the first person I really met. It's weird, isn't it, getting old?
Very strange.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I don't know about you, but I don't feel fucking old.
I don't even know.
Do you know what I mean? I don't feel fucking.
But some people do look old and feel knackered, don't they? It just depends on
do you know what
mindset.
it is, Alf? It does depend on mindset, but I think it's the mindset. Your mind, like it all comes from your mind anyway. Everything, because it's got to be from your mindset. But it's like what I trade. I won't do something I don't like, which is good and bad, because sometimes I should have just sucked it up and got a shit job and just done that. I should have done that, but I can't, because I just can't.